Hi, I'm Jim Stroud, and this is my podcast brought to you by Evergreen, home of great podcasts like Chad and Cheese, The Talent Cast, and others. Find them online at evergreenpodcasts.com.
Yeah, boy!
Earlier this year, a certain college scandal dominated the headlines. Although it wasn't that long ago, news cycles move pretty fast. Here's a reminder.
Actress Felicity Huffman, who was in federal court today, her tearful plea before the judge in the college admissions cheating scandal. ABC's Lindsay Davis was in Boston for this.
Somber and silent, actress Felicity Huffman entered federal court in Boston today to plead guilty to conspiracy to commit fraud. The Desperate Housewives star breaking down, telling the judge her daughter had been getting extra time on tests since she was 11 and was working with a neuropsychologist. Huffman paid $15,000 to have an SAT proctor correct the answers on her daughter's exam, improving her score by 400 points.
Are you truly sorry for what happened?
But today, through tears, she said neither her daughter nor the doctor had anything to do with Rick Singer, the alleged mastermind of the college admissions scheme. Huffman says she didn't know how Singer made his payments, but admitted everything else the prosecutor said I did. The actress previously said her daughter knew absolutely nothing about my actions. This transgression toward her and the public, I will carry for the rest of my life.
If you recall the outrage by society over the lengths Felicity Huffman and others went to in order to influence their children's future success, then no doubt you will be intrigued by what's happening in China. Over there, they are testing the DNA of their children in order to forecast their academic and professional success, then make certain adjustments where needed. No joke. DNA testing is all the rage in China. I'll tell you more about it after this. Advanced security, internet freedom, complete privacy. That's what you get with NORDVPN. Imagine NORDVPN as a hack-proof encrypted tunnel for online traffic to flow. Nobody can see through the tunnel and get their hands on your internet data. NORDVPN gives you peace of mind each time you use public Wi-Fi, access personal and work accounts on the road, or want to keep your browsing history to yourself. Try it out today. Matter of fact, you have nothing to lose with their 30-day money-back guarantee. Simply go to jimstroud.com/secure. That's JIMSTROUD/secure, SECURE. In fact, as a special offer to my listeners, go over to jimstroud.com/secure and get your copy of NORDVPN for 75% off. Now, this is only for a limited time, so act fast. One more time because I'm trying to look out for you. jimstroud.com/SECURE. That's jimstroud.com/secure. Do it now. You'll be glad you did. Bloomberg published an article called Chinese Parents Test DNA to Check If Kids Will Become Prodigies. Here is a quote from that article. Months after his daughter's birth in 2017, Chris Young dropped off a test tube of her saliva to his company's genetic testing lab in Hong Kong. He had grand ambitions for the baby and was seeking clues to the future in her DNA. She might become a prominent professional, he thought, possibly even a doctor. But Young's plans shifted after analysis by his firm, Gene Discovery, suggested his daughter had strong abilities in music, math, and sports, though a lesser aptitude for memorizing details. As the little girl grows up, Young said he will pour resources into developing those talents while steering her away from professions that require a lot of memorization. Originally, I would like her to become a professional like a doctor or lawyer, said Young, Chief Operating Officer of Good Union Corporation, the parent company of Gene Discovery. But once I looked into the results, it talked about how her memory is so bad. I switched my expectations because if I would like her to become a professional, she needs to study a lot and remember a lot. Gene Discovery does brisk business hawking DNA tests out of rooms in Hong Kong's Tsim Sha Tsui shopping district near stores selling Prada bags and Dior watches. More than half of its clients are from China's mainland, where parents eager to shape their offspring into prodigies are fueling the advance of a growing but largely unregulated industry. When it comes to hacking human DNA, the Chinese have been at it for a while and have made headlines with recent breakthroughs. Scientist He Jiankui went against the ethical arguments of the scientific community and used CRISPR technology to change the genomes of twin girls in order to give them immunity to HIV. To say it was controversial would be a gross understatement. The scientific community has been working harder to establish stronger safeguards ever since the experiment was made public last year, but that's just a recent example. China has been generating controversy about their forays into genetic research for a while. Back in 2013, there was buzz around an announced Chinese program to genetically engineer their babies en masse. Here's a 2013 clip from D News talking about it.
The internet is abuzz with talk about genetically engineered babies, thanks to a piece in Vice by Alex Error. China is planning to genetically cultivate their population. The internet seems to think that this article is proof the Chinese will inevitably genetically modify their population into super beings. And as we know, the internet is never wrong. If we select to keep people from having major genetic disorders, it's okay, but not if we pick for height or beauty or athleticism or brain power. The Vice piece revealed that a company called BGI is looking into the human genome to find the genes that control intelligence. They'll then be able to select the most intelligent sperm and egg from a couple and use that for their baby. It's not actually genetic engineering. They're not playing with the DNA, they're just spotting the best DNA and purposefully selecting it. It's very much like how farmers genetically modify their cow herds by breeding the best milkers or beefers or whatever together. Stephen Su gave a talk at Michigan State University about this topic. Definitely check that out. He explained how very soon we will all have enough genetic knowledge to do this with our children. The cost of gene sequencing is getting exponentially smaller, while the power of computers is doubling. In the not too distant future, maybe the next 10 years, we will be able to sequence a whole genome of sperm and egg and look for specific genetic markers. Su shows that even with coaching and tutoring, there's not a huge statistical difference in test scores. But if you could select to impregnate with the best sperm for intelligence, you might bump it up a bit.
All that being said, I have to wonder if the science is settled, and from what I have read, the jury is still out. Here's another quote from that Bloomberg article I mentioned at the beginning. And for every report of Chinese scientists making genuine medical breakthroughs, such as gene editing the annihilation of a superbug, there are the more eyebrow-raising experiments. Researchers cloning macaques born with genes edited to trigger mental illness, using CRISPR to breed ultra-muscular beagles, or creating super monkeys by injecting their brains with human DNA. DNA is the code that the human body runs on, and it determines much about who we are. But scientists are still working to understand that code, with many characteristics not caused by one or two genes, but hundreds or possibly thousands. An individual's experiences and environment also play a major role in shaping, say, whether they are a math genius or if they'll develop cancer. A person's DNA doesn't single-handedly determine who they are, and having a certain gene can't predict your future. It can only suggest the likelihood of developing a condition or trait. One highly cited 2003 study in the American Journal of Human Genetics found a compelling link between a variant of the gene actin-3 and elite power athletes like sprinters, but studies since have found that while most sprinters have that variant, not everyone who has it is an elite athlete. Likewise, having a harmful mutation of the BRCA gene, commonly associated with breast and ovarian cancer, doesn't mean a person will ever develop the disease. It just means their risk is higher than others without that variant. In recent years, genetic testing and other screening methods have led to breakthroughs in assessing cancer risk in adults or diagnosing conditions like Down syndrome in utero. But in China, companies are taking that further, promising to deliver insight on life beyond the womb that current science often doesn't support. So the science is not conclusive. Will that stop parents from buying DNA tests in China to see if their kids will be gifted in some way? I doubt it. But let's imagine for a moment that the science is perfect and can do all the things that parents want it to do, and maybe even more. Is that a good thing? I'm not so sure. I'll tell you why after this. Entrepreneur Kylie Jenner makes an estimated $1 million per sponsored post on her Instagram, which makes her the highest paid celebrity influencer on the social media platform, according to the 2018 Instagram Rich List compiled by Hopper HQ, an automated Instagram scheduler. Jenner is followed by singer Selena Gomez, who gets $800,000 per sponsored post, and star soccer player Cristiano Ronaldo, who earns $750,000. Together, these and other up-and-coming stars contribute to the $1 billion influencer market, which is expected to double in value this year. Now, all that is great until there is an Instagram bug and you lose over 1 million followers, which happened to Kim Kardashian, Justin Bieber, and several others. If it could happen to them, it could most definitely happen to you. The moral of the story? Don't build your house on rented land. I suggest you do what I did and get your own mobile app with SUPAPASS. SUPAPASS makes cutting-edge content apps easy, instant, and affordable. So whether you already have content or are looking to start making money by selling your podcasts or videos online, SUPAPASS can help. So sure, build up an audience on social media, but drive the traffic to a property you own, and that property should be SUPAPASS. For more information, visit SUPAPASS at www.supapass.app. That's www.supapass.app. SUPAPASS.app. And be sure to tell them Jim Strauss sent you. The Chinese are using genetic testing to give their children an advantage, and in the very near future, 2022 to be exact, we will see it put to the test. China is now using genetics to choose its athletes for the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing. This was reported by the South China Morning Post in May 2019. Time will tell how successful they will be and whether or not it will spark a genetics arms race, akin to a nuclear arms race. No matter the outcome, though, there is a compelling reason why the human will to remain determined is better than any enhancement of a physical human condition. Listen to this compelling argument found from all places, the South China Morning Post.
Can you select your athletes by their genes? When it comes to the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing, China hopes so. A recent article here in the South China Morning Post found that China has unveiled plans to establish a laboratory standard for the selection of athletes by genetic markers. This is all according to a document posted by the Ministry of Science and Technology. Now, if you ask me, this kind of takes the fun out of picking athletes to begin with. As a lifelong sports fan, part of the allure of watching athletes is knowing their interesting and sometimes tough backstories. One of the most famous backstories is New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady, who just won his 6th Super Bowl and is widely regarded as the greatest NFL player of all time. Back in high school, Brady was a backup quarterback and only got the starting role when the other guy went down with an injury. Brady scored horribly during the NFL Draft Combine, which teams use to evaluate players before selecting them. Not only could he not run fast enough, his passing and footwork were passable at best. In selecting him, the Patriots saw something no computer, test, or genetic marker can identify: grit, determination, and a will to win against all odds. The problem with China's plan is it takes away one of sport's most important yet toughest to quantify assets: a winning mindset. Superstars like Tom Brady are not manufactured or selected by science. They are forged in fire. Brady spent the first half of his football career sitting on the bench. This created a fire in his belly, a desire to be the greatest, and as the saying goes, the rest is history. If China really wants to dominate the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing, it needs to create a sporting culture around its various events. Cultivate kids who love to play the game. Let them encounter adversity, overcome it, and become better in the process. Manufacturing and picking potential winners on tests, markers, and numbers on the screens sounds like a bad way to go about anything. But don't believe me, just ask Tom Brady.
Well said, sir. Well said. If you love what you heard, hate what you heard, or don't know what you just heard, I want to know about it. You can leave a comment concerning this podcast on my website at www.jimstroud.com. In addition to finding source material and related information for this podcast episode, you'll find other goodies that I hope will make you smile. And if you have not already, please subscribe to my website. Your continued support keeps this podcast train chugging down the track.